You feel fine. Then a lab report comes back high. About 86 million adults in the United States have total cholesterol above 200, and many do not know it until a blood test says so. That is what makes this dangerous. High LDL usually does not hurt. It does not tap you on the shoulder. It quietly leaves cholesterol behind in artery walls, year after year, until the first warning is a blocked artery, a stroke, or a heart attack. And before we go one step further, do not stop a prescribed statin on your own. If you are having side effects, talk with your clinician. For some people, especially those with a prior heart attack, stroke, diabetes, familial hypercholesterolemia, or very high LDL, medication may still be essential. After 55, the stakes go up fast. The liver tends to become less efficient at clearing LDL as we age. And the real danger is not just the number on one lab test. It is the years of exposure. Think of it as slow arterial rusting. Plaque builds silently until one day climbing stairs leaves you winded. Carrying groceries feels harder, or a walk with your spouse turns into heavy legs and calf pain. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death in the United States, and most people who die of coronary heart disease are 65 or older. So this is not just about cholesterol. It is about protecting your stamina, your independence, and your time with the people you love. A lot of people miss the early warnings because they do not look dramatic. It may be lower stamina, slower recovery after chores, chest tightness you call indigestion, shortness of breath doing things that used to be easy, or unusual fatigue that gets blamed on aging. Those signs are not proof of high cholesterol, but they can reflect the artery disease that long-standing LDL helps create. And if you ever get new chest pressure, shortness of breath, one-sided weakness, trouble speaking, sudden vision change, or worsening leg pain when walking, that is not the time to experiment with breakfast. That is time to get medical help. Now for the part that gives you some control back. Food really can move the needle, especially when high LDL is being pushed by years of too much saturated fat, too little fiber, and a diet heavy in ultra-processed foods. But it helps to be honest about what works best. The strongest direct LDL lowering evidence from food is not spread evenly across everything people call heart healthy. Oats and plant sterols are the standouts if your goal is a measurable drop in LDL. Avocado, extra virgin olive oil, and fatty fish are still excellent choices, but their effects are usually more modest or more indirect. They help most when they replace the foods that are driving LDL up in the first place. Start with oats. Old-fashioned rolled oats, steel-cut oats, and oat bran all contain beta-glucan, a soluble fiber with some of the best evidence we have for lowering LDL. The research target is at least 3 grams a day of oat beta-glucan. That usually means multiple servings of oat foods per day, or choosing a product that clearly lists how much beta-glucan it contains. Labels matter here because the amount can vary. Why do oats help? In plain language, beta-glucan forms a thick gel in the gut. That gel traps some bile acids and cholesterol-containing compounds, so your body has to pull more cholesterol out of the blood to make new bile. That is how LDL comes down. Review data suggest about a 5 to 10% LDL reduction when people consistently get 3 grams or more per day, and many studies show changes on repeat labs in about 4 to 6 weeks. Oats are not magic, but if you actually hit the researched amount every day, they are one of the most evidence-backed foods for lowering LDL. Next comes plant sterols and stanols. These are not foods most people get in meaningful amounts just by eating more vegetables. In real life, they are usually found in fortified foods like certain spreads, yogurts, yogurt drinks, snack bars, and some juices or milks. The typical research dose is about 2 grams a day. At that amount, Around a 10% LDL reduction is a common estimate, often within weeks on repeat testing. Plant sterols work because they look chemically similar to cholesterol. In the intestine, they compete with cholesterol for absorption, so less cholesterol gets into the body. If your goal is a measurable LDL drop from food, this is one of the few options with dose-specific evidence. Just keep one important point in mind. Plant sterols can help lower LDL, but they are not the same thing as proven medication for someone at high risk. They are a tool, not a free pass to ignore the rest of your risk picture. Then there is avocado. This one gets overhyped sometimes, so let us keep it real. Avocado is less a miracle cure and more a smart swap. A practical amount is about half to 1 avocado a day, especially if it replaces butter, cheese, processed meat, or refined snack. The reason it helps is simple. You are replacing saturated fat with monounsaturated fat, while also adding fiber and other plant compounds. A recent meta-analysis found LDL came down by about 6.16 milligrams per deciliter, on average. That is helpful, but it is not dramatic. The benefit seems strongest when avocado is replacing the foods that push LDL higher, not when it is just added on top of an already heavy diet. Extra virgin olive oil belongs in the same category. It is heart-healthy and supportive, but it is not one of the fastest LDL-lowering foods on its own. A practical amount is 1 to 2 tablespoons a day used in place of butter, cream-based dressings, shortening, or other saturated fats. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fat, especially oleic acid, and it contains polyphenols that may help reduce LDL oxidation and support blood vessel function. The effect on blood lipids is usually modest, but the overall pattern matters. Olive oil helps most when it is part of a better way of eating, not when it is poured into an otherwise unhealthy diet. And then there is fatty fish. Salmon, sardines, herring, mackerel, and trout are the main players here. The American Heart Association recommends at least 2 servings of fish per week, especially fatty fish. This is important because fish is strongest for triglycerides and overall cardiovascular support, thanks to omega-3 fats like EPA and DHA. It is not a powerful LDL-lowering food in the same way oats and plant sterols are, and in some studies, LDL does not change much. But fish still earns its place because it is a better protein choice than processed meats and fatty cuts of red meat, and that swap alone can improve the direction of your diet. If you step back, a simple pattern appears. The foods that help most are not just adding something good, they are pushing out something harmful. Oats push out low-fiber processed breakfasts. Plant sterols can help block cholesterol absorption. Avocado pushes out butter and cheese. Olive oil pushes out saturated fats in cooking and dressings. Fatty fish pushes out processed meat and some heavier animal fats. That is where the real power is. So here is a practical way to start this week. Make one breakfast an oat breakfast, and check the label so you know how much beta-glucan you are really getting. Add 1 fortified sterol food if your doctor agrees it fits your plan. Swap butter or cheese for half an avocado a few times this week. Use extra virgin olive oil instead of butter in at least one daily meal. Put salmon, sardines, trout, or another fatty fish on the menu twice this week. Then stay consistent long enough to give your body a chance to respond. Food changes do not work in 2 days, but some of these changes can start showing up on repeat labs within weeks. That is real progress. And if your numbers stay very high, or you have a strong family history, diabetes, kidney disease, thyroid disease, or prior vascular disease, do not take that as failure. Take it as useful information. Sometimes food is enough. Sometimes food and medication together are the right answer. Either way, you are not powerless. Every meal is a chance to lower the load on your arteries and protect the years you want to keep living well.